to another episode of Pit Lane Parlay.
In the first part of the Road to Indy rapid fire around this weekend, talking with Stingray Rob from Yuncos Racing. Portland is kind of like a home race for you. I guess probably at least the closest one. Part one, do you have a lot of friends and family coming out this weekend? And part two, are we going to see an appearance by the giant potato truck?
So part one, the answer to that is yes. There is a ton of family and friends coming out this weekend. Last year we were lucky enough to have over 250 people come, so it was kind of cool. I had some yellow t-shirts that we were selling with my logo on it and everything, and so it's kind of like a sea of yellow in the bleachers, and so it was kind of cool after the race to see them and wave at them as I went by. Part two, I think initially we were supposed to see an appearance from the giant potato, but the big Idaho potato truck, they've had a few issues I think along the way, so hopefully we'll get to see them. Hopefully they're going to join the party and have some fun, but we'll see. I think everyone will have to wait and see for themselves.
Yeah, I think I need to take a selfie with the potato truck before the year ends, hopefully. So I'm going to ask this question to both you and when I talk to Rasmus later. Your favorite thing about your teammate?
His red hair is very unique.
It is.
It is. Rasmus, away from the track, I think he really likes to the mechanical side of things, and so it's kind of cool to see his projects, and he's restoring old go-karts and working on those. He's a really good TIG welder, so he shows me all of his little welds here and there, and his restorations of, like I said, the 90s go-karts, and so I really think that's really something that I can appreciate for him. I mean, we both come from similar karting backgrounds, so to kind of share that same passion off the track is pretty cool.
How would you rate your Indy Pro 2000 season? I'll start there.
The first third was fantastic.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say it was probably 7 or an 8. I mean, definitely up there. From Road America to Toronto, those two races were pretty horrible. So that middle third was not very good. And then we went to Gateway. That was okay, but before that we had Mid-Ohio, and I think it performed really well there. Yeah. And then hopefully we can close out the season with some strong finishes. I mean, we have a good car this weekend, so hopefully we can keep going in that direction.
So Gateway was your first time at Gateway this year or last year?
I actually ran there with the old car.
Okay.
So it was my third year there.
So what are your thoughts on Gateway? I know it's quickly, in the 3 years IndyCar's been there, it's been a fan favorite. They promote the heck out of it, and it seems like a fun weekend. I was there last year, but unable to make it this year. What are your thoughts on the track and the whole experience? Yeah,
I think the event is really cool. Having the night race there with IndyCar is something that you don't see very often from the Road to Indy perspective. From a driver on track there, it's kind of intimidating. I mean, it's a very fast track, but this year I felt like a whole different track because of the way that the team had the car set up. I mean, the car was fantastic right away from the test. The race didn't really go as planned. I mean, obviously with a fifth place finish, I think that we deserved more than that. Yeah. And so it was good to kind of get my confidence on the Gateway Oval, considering the last 2 years I didn't have that. And the same thing happened at Lucas Oil. Last year I didn't have the confidence going into that race, but as you saw this year I was P2 and setting some really fast laps. So the oval confidence I think can come a lot from the car, and Gateway is just a whole nother level to that.
Yeah, very well said. Wrap it up with one final question here. Is there any, maybe a race as a whole or a moment in a race that, looking back on it, if you were given a magic do-over, you would do something different?
Ooh. That's a tough question. I mean, as a racer, you never want to second guess. Yeah, exactly. So, obviously, there's things that I know now that I didn't know in the past. So, there's things that I would change, maybe subconsciously, but no racing specific.
Cool. Well, this has been round one of Rapid Fire. We'll be back with Rasmus Lindh later and a couple Andretti Indy Lights guys coming up shortly. Rapid fire round 2 of Road to Indy. I have Ryan Norman and Robert Megennis here with me from Andretti Autosport. I'll start with Ryan. You actually got your racing career started in motocross. How did you make the switch from motocross to cars?
Well, to be honest, it's completely different. Really, there was not much I could take from motocross over to the car racing, so really just focused on learning from the get-go and just learning every time out in the car, and started Skip Barber Racing, and then just kind of made my way up the system from there.
In your 3 years at Indy Lights, you've steadily progressed each year, up the standings. You had your first win last year at Gateway, another win this year. At some point early in the year, I forgot to write down wherever it was. What have you learned in 3 years of Indy Lights that's steadily progressed you up the charts?
The first year was just about learning the tracks and learning the car. Really didn't have any experience in the road to Indy at that time, and then the second year was just trying to get to the point where I was able to contend for podiums and a win, and we showed that. And then this year we just racking in the podiums. We had a win at Road America, and we almost won the Freedom 100 as well. And it's been a great year so far. We just got to keep the momentum moving forward.
So I'm going to switch to Robert before I ask you about the Freedom 100. You started at Fordham last week or something somewhat pretty recently. First off, congrats. Stay in college as long as you can because it's a lot of fun. I wish I could go back. Are any of your new classmates or dorm mates going to be tuning in to the last 2 race weekends of the season?
I hope they will. Definitely made some friends. I moved in on Sunday, had orientation Monday and Tuesday, and then flew out to Portland here. So we've missed the whole first week of class, which is great.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just excited for college, and that's what everyone says. Everyone wants to be back there and enjoy it while I can.
Yeah, I make the joke to people: if you can change your major every year to stay in school, do so. Your parents might like that idea, but one step at a time. So the Freedom 100. That was the first race I've ever seen where the entire media center was cheering the last 5 laps. From a driver's perspective, how intense were those last 5 or 10 laps?
It was very intense. We led a lot of the laps. I think it was 39 laps we led, and I knew we had a really good car and just really it was all about placement and everything and timing, because we would always be able to lead on the lap. It was just kind of where you would lose the lead with the draft from everyone else. So, it was really close. It was a couple inches at the line, but the car was so dominant. So it kind of sucks that we weren't able to bring home the win there, but good points for sure.
I hope everybody enjoyed Ryan's car getting warmed up in the background there. So, this is your first year in Indy Lights. What has Ryan been able to kind of teach you or coach you along the way as your season has progressed?
There's a lot that I've learned from Ryan. He has so much experience. He knows how to do these cars. I think I learned the most from him, at the Freedom and in practice, and the way that he would drive, the way he would keep cars behind him. And it's just been good to have someone with experience who knows what's going on the team to, show me, kind of show me the way when I'm a little lost.
And on that note, your first Indy Lights season is almost over. How would you describe your season if you're going to give yourself a letter grade, since we're on the school topic here? What are we grading ourselves?
It's hard, right? Because the first half of the season, it would be like A++. Second half, I feel like we're a bit like a B or something. So like an A-, right? But no, we're going to try and finish the season off strong. We've looked at kind of how we're operating, how I'm approaching these weekends, and we're going to make a couple changes and see if we can get back to where we were, get back to the form we had, the first 3 or 4 weekends of the season.
Cool. All right, now a question for both of you guys. As we get out of the way of oncoming traffic, is there a moment this year, maybe a race as a whole, or just a mistake made that you would want to have a redo?
A moment where I'd like to have a redo. I'd love to not have gotten hit by Sowery at the Freedom. I think we had a great car that whole weekend. We were on pole, and I think if I could go back and look at that hindsight 2020 and look at how he was driving the whole weekend, I probably would have made a couple of different choices. But overall, all in all, I'm just learning from all this experience. Oh my God. overall, all in all, I'm just learning from these experiences and just gaining more and more knowledge as I go through. I'm still 19. I still have a lot going on, so I have years to figure this stuff out.
Anything for you?
Definitely the Freedom 100. The last lap, I think I made the right choice on passing when I did because forgot Renus was behind us and there's another car that was in the mix. So if I would have waited, they probably would have caught us and it would have been 4 wide. But I think going into the last turn, I probably could have turned in a little bit shallower and blocked a little bit of Oliver's air. And maybe, from what we saw at the 500 with Simon, how he defended at the end, I probably could have done a little bit more defending to the line there. But, I don't know if that would have made the difference in the race. But if I can go back, I would definitely like to try it again.
And that is the USF car showing off right in front of us. So you did get to test an Indy car at Mid-Ohio a couple days after the race. What was that experience like?
The car is incredible. I mean, just everything from the tires, the braking. It's just, it's a proper race car. The transmission's really good, so the downshifts are nice and clean. We got up to speed relatively quickly, so in a lot of ways, I actually think it's maybe even an easier car to drive than the Indy Lights car. It was a good day of testing for sure.
All right, one off-topic, non-racing question before we wrap it out with one more question here. Any TV show that you've been binging on the road this summer that you think fans should tune into?
Ooh, I discovered Black Mirror this season. It's been amazing.
Okay.
Definitely recommend that to everyone.
Okay.
I'm late on the Rick and Morty, so I've been catching up on those.
What?
Yeah, I know.
So good.
To be honest, I'm a South Park and a Family Guy type of guy, so I never really got into that. So I've been watching all the episodes recently. So.
I've been told to watch that as well, and I haven't. Like you, I've watched every Family Guy episode probably 10 times, but everybody tells me I need to watch Rick and Morty. I'm embarrassed. It's one of those ones I'm embarrassed to admit I haven't seen.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'll wrap it up. Kind of an easier question here. What does it mean and what is it like to drive for an organization in Andretti Autosport?
I think it's just an honor. There's so many great people on this team and so much experience that they have. Able to look up to guys like Mario and Michael who have tons of experience, and they give out great race cars, and they've proven that every year. So really just an honor to drive for them.
Yeah, and I'd say, similar. I mean, there are hundreds, thousands of people who want to be in these cars, and to be one of the few drivers who gets picked to drive for Andretti Autosport, I mean, that's an honor in itself, and it really is an amazing team. The resources they have, the people they have, the knowledge, it's incredible, and it's I've loved every second of my time here at Andretti.
Awesome. Well, gentlemen, good luck this weekend and the rest of the year, and hopefully see you on the grid somewhere in 2020.
Thank you.
And good luck in college.
Thanks, Mike.
Round 4 of our Road to Indy Rapid Fire. I'm joined by Rasmus Lindh of Juncos Racing. I'm going to start with, yesterday, I know you weren't happy with qualifying P7. Today, after not a great start, I don't know what happened over there in the one corner, but you did rebound to qualify P3 for race 2. So do you feel a little bit better after a better qualifying effort that can maybe even translate into something you found for race 1?
Yeah, I mean, we had engine problems yesterday in the qualifying, so that struggled us to go faster in the qualifying. So this was our maximum yesterday, what we could with the car and everything. But then the team put it together and changed the engine overnight. So we had a different engine today, and I mean, we have less laps than everyone in the whole paddock right now, so I'm still improving every lap I do, so we just find time every time, so I just need more laps.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think from yesterday to today your lap time looked a lot better, so I think that'll definitely translate over into the race. So we have 2 race weekends left. You got 2 races here, Portland, Laguna. You guys are at Laguna, correct? So you got 2 races at Laguna. For a second, I doubted myself. You've got you're still in the lead, only 6 points though. How do you stay calm under pressure when you have Kyle Kirkwood breathing down your neck now?
Yeah, I mean, now I just do race by race, and you just have to drive. You cannot do more than you self can, so just drive.
So is it a situation where you're playing it safe and worrying about the points more than let's go for the straight out win and try to pass somebody under a crazy move.
Yeah, it's more to just take care of the championship, what we have done all year. I mean, we have 10 podiums this year, so just take every point you can get.
So I asked Stingray this question when him and I talked yesterday. What is your favorite characteristic or driving thing about Stingray Rob?
I mean, Stingray he's very not polite, but he's a good teammate. He don't do like stupid mistakes to a teammate, so I think that's why.
His answer was your mechanical prowess that we talked about a couple weeks ago as well. So we're as I mentioned, we're winding down the year. How would you rate your Indy Pro 2000 season?
I mean, I think it was pretty good. I took my first 2 wins in Indy, and we had many poles and many fastest lap and lap records, so I think I rate this season very high.
If this was a hypothetical and you could redo maybe one moment from the season, is there something you look back on and you go, you know what, I learned a lot from that, but I wish I had done something differently?
Probably Toronto. I think we could have won both races there. I just didn't push enough to overtake, but I learned from it and it changed.
So one more question here. Again, thanks for a couple minutes today. The next group of Indy Pro 2000 rookies that's coming up the ladder next year, if you're going to give them advice on how to succeed in the next level up, because obviously, USF 2000 to Indy Pro 2000 is a pretty big jump. What kind of advice are you giving them?
Not rush. Take it step by step, everything, and you will learn it quicker.
Cool. Well, this is Rasmus Lindh in our last of the Road to Indy Rapid Fire for the weekend, and best of luck, man.
Thank you.